Hey MVPs, Rico Knows here. I want to talk to you guys about the fights last night. We did really well. If you're an MVP and you're betting on these fights, I hope you're doing so responsibly. I hope you're doing so with the best information you can, but it feels really good to get fights right. Okay. For the last 4 fight cards, we are at 67%. Now, mind you, these are all money line bets, but there's some other things that I gave out to the MVPs, and I want to share it now. This will be a free video. If you weren't paying attention, this video here on Patreon and on YouTube was free, so everybody could see my pick. I took Daniel Marcos to beat Q-Lang, and Earl Q-Lang was getting demolished in this fight. He pretended to have a low blow, claims he got hit in the nuts, and after 5 minutes he could no longer continue. That was his way of dodging a loss. I think he should never fight in the UFC again. And it turned out to be a no contest. So we lost a lot of, we didn't lose, we just lost an opportunity to make a bunch of money there. In this video here, I told you guys Fernie was not going to win this fight. He was taking it on 1 week's notice. He's lost 3 fights in a row. He was fighting up a weight class. And although I think Fernie's a better fighter than Hader, we had to take Hader just off of all of the different circumstances, and that's exactly what happened. Fernie looked like he had a chance to win at some points. He actually has the heart of a champion, was out there throwing, but eventually Emil won the fight. We were right, so shout out to the MVPs who bet on that and believed in it. Here we have Zach Puglia. He's a former an NFL football player, former collegiate football player, and he absolutely disappointed. I took him to win the fight. It did not happen. Bogdan looked mean. He looked vicious, and he went ahead and won that fight. So we missed. The next fight I told you guys, I think Max Griffin's going to get it done. I'm sorry. I think Jeremiah Wells is going to get it done. And by all accounts, from what I saw in the fight, I thought he did win the fight. I thought he won 2 out of the 3 rounds. But for whatever reason, 2 of the judges saw it a different way, and we lost. So that felt like robbery. It happens. It's the UFC. The judges are subjective, and there is no set point scale on that regard. Like there's a scoring system, but it can change, right? In the NFL, if you score an 80-yard touchdown or a 2-yard touchdown, they're worth the same amount. Not in UFC. Style points matter, and these judges value other things. I have no idea. Max Griffin did nothing in this fight. This felt like the most rigged outcome I've seen in a while. It was disappointing. First big win of the night as far as picking an underdog, plus 190 on Prachnio to win the fight. Nobody believed that was going to happen. You could see it here for 3 minutes. I talked about it profusely. I just think Devin Clark never shows up in big moments. He fails us every single time, and I like Prachnio to win the fight, and we were right. Shout out to the MVPs. You got Loma Lookboonmee. She looked terrible. She did not look as dominant as I anticipated, but it doesn't matter. I think the results and the outcome were predetermined, and thankfully, because them judges were in the pocket of somebody, she won the fight, and it was like unanimous, which is nuts. And here, Oki looked good. Oki looked fine, but obviously Timothy Kuamba showed up to fight. Shout out to him. But Oki got the win just like we predicted. He is a monster. He's a prospect. He's coming up. So we were right there. That was a lock for the night. And mind you, that was one underdog, a lock, and here we are. We're going for more locks in a row. And the prelim premier fight of the night, it was Trevin Giles versus Carlos Prates. I said, hey, not only is Prates going to win the fight, but he's going to win by knockout. And we had some MVPs very nervous, thinking they needed to cash out, and we weren't going to get it because he was kind of getting touched up and not winning the fight. He won by knockout. I'm Rico Knows. I'll be here all day, right? In this fight, if you watch this video, it's 4.5 minutes long. If you watch the video, I tell you, Rodolfo Vieira is a problem. He's one of the, a tap-out artist. And if you watch the video individually, you will know that I chose Vieira to win the fight. But if you watch the next video, I tell everybody, hey, man, I think I changed my mind. We're going to go with the value bet here because I felt like I wasn't making enough value bets on the card. And if there was a guy I could trust for a value, it was going to be Arman. I was wrong. So sorry for the flip-flop. I usually don't ever do that. But I made it very well known, put it really loud, put it in red text on the card. I'll show you guys at the end here. But it's just unfortunate. And we know that Rodolfo is a world-class grappler, and he's got these monkey arms, bro. He's got enormous biceps. He does what he does. In this fight here, there was no doubt in my mind Darius Flowers is not built like that. He's not a real fighter. You watched him. He looked pathetic in there. He looks like a guy who works out a lot but can't fight. Michael Johnson is a scrapper, a fighter. I don't care if he's lost 18 times in his life. Those are 18 badass dudes who beat him. Straight up. He's fought everybody. So Michael Johnson coming out here, getting the win, did not surprise me at all. I put it on the card, and I believed in it. A lot of respect for Brad Tavares, but Gregory Rodriguez is RoboCop for a reason. Walked right through him, beat him to a pulp, and actually wins the fight. Shout out to RoboCop. I think he's on that juice. This was very disappointing for the night. I thought Robert Brezak was going to win this fight. He's a knockout artist. He knocks everybody out in the first round. It did not happen. Eeyore touched him up, was showboating, and proved to have a chin because he got caught on the chin twice, and he's been knocked out twice in the last 2 fights. So for me, right, when I look at this matchup, what I learned from this fight is Brezak does not have knockout power. I don't know who he's been knocking out, but it ain't these guys at 185. Shout out to Pretoria. He actually moved down for this fight. That's why I said 205. He moved down, and he was ready to fight, which is crazy. To cut weight like that and be ready. I think he said he cut 30 pounds in 6 days. So he said something insane. In the co-main event, Dan Ige and Andre Fili, I was in the middle of the video saying, I hope you guys watch this video till the end because I believe that you have to take Dan Ige for points. I believe you have to take Dan Ige to win the fight. Well, it didn't go to points. Dan Ige knocked Touchy Fili out. Any dude named Touchy will never bet on him. So shout out to Dan Ige. Shout out to the MVPs who got it right. And then the main event, bro. I told you guys, Joe Pyfer hasn't fought at this echelon. He hasn't fought a professional with this type of pedigree, and I don't think he's going to go in there and smash him and dominate. I believe we're going to go with the points. Jack Hermansson in the points. It's going to go the distance. These are the bets I made. This is what I talked about. And what's crazy is some MVPs listened, and they hit on a plus 600 bet. Some people didn't. But when you go look at the chart, and as I pull it up here in front of you guys, I'm actually going to pull it up on a different chart. Let me see if I can pull up the spreadsheet here, and I want to make sure you guys can see it. So from last night, as I scroll in, I'll make sure it's on your side of the chart here. I have brand new monitors, so they're like, you can't see part of the screen. I got to figure that out. But main card, you guys see it here. Anytime you're in purple, that's a value bet. We hit a plus 215. The spreads are there. We're hitting spreads. Those are just coin flips. I'm not sure who's going to win, so I call it a spread. It's not a lock, but it's a spread or a lean, so I take the lean. I apologize. I kept saying spread for whatever reason. And then if it's in green text, that was a lock and we missed, which is terrible. Okay? If you ever see a green text, that's a lock and we missed. If you see white text, that's a lock and we hit. I have to turn it white so you can see it, or else it would just be a green block because the green letters were there when it was a lock. With all that being said, some of the things I'm pretty proud of. We finally hit on our parlays and props for tonight. Loma Lookboonmi and Hyder Emil both won their fights. This is money line. We know they're 310. We know they're minus 200. Rico, that's not that impressive. In fighting, it is. It's way different than any other sport. This is not like predicting Alabama's going to beat Alabama State or something. This is way different. So the person you're fighting has a legitimate chance to beat you. They're never outgunned for the most part. Nonetheless, combining a minus 200 and a minus 310, just straight money line, that'll get you positive money. You could have bet $100 on that and had a great night. You would have doubled your money and enjoyed the rest of the card. But the problem is we have some MVPs who are degenerates. We have some people who just can't watch a fight. They have to put something on it, and you don't need to do that. I put out a pick for every single fight just so people can choose which fights they want to bet on. That doesn't mean take every single fight. These are not all locks. Right? It's different. UFC, college football. College football, I would look at a 70-game slate and tell you to bet on these 12 games. It's a lot different than if I could look at the UFC card and I go, oh, only bet on these 4 fights. I don't do that. I provide a pick for every single fight. Whether I'm right or wrong is on me, but there's no excuse for you to have a worse record than me. That's the way it goes. So, because you don't have to bet the misses. You don't have to bet. I'm out here betting them. With that being said, Carlos Pratt's predicting his knockout at 105 feels pretty good. It was tough. He was a big favorite. If you look up here, he's a minus 270. I felt there was no value in betting on a minus 270. So I said, let's go take the knockout, plus 105. It's pretty bold. Got it done. Vieira and Arman did not go the distance. I was hoping Arman could stay away from Vieira. It happened in the first round, bro. He got tapped out. That's terrible. I was hoping it would be there. But Michael Johnson and Darius Flowers, I said they would get to round 3. It happened. And Dan Ige by points. It's an unfortunate thing. He went out there and knocked the boy out. So if you look down here, though, locks, 10-6. Leans, 14-5. You can just avoid everything and just go bet on these locks and leans and ignore the value bets. You'll be straight. But value bets were 7-5. And that's important that people understand. Rico, what about the units? How many units are you up? I'm not up any units. It's on you. How many units did you put on each fight? So if you look at a value bet and it's purple, how many purples did we miss yesterday? Well, there are only 3 value bets right here. 3 value bets. We missed one of them. So if you put 1 unit on each value bet, you would have lost a unit here. If Devin Prachnio hits, you win 2 units at that point, right? 1.9, because you're at a plus 190. And you would have been up 2 more units here. You'd be up 3.9 units. At least 3 units on 3 different bets. And you would have been 2-1 on your bets, but you're up 3 units. Let me know how you guys do it. I don't know. I'm not a gambler, but I know what I'm saying. Okay? The fact that people can't understand this right here, if you put a unit on every single one of these value bets is a plus 100 bet. These are the plus 100s. This should be, I'm betting on an underdog to win the fight. That's what this is right here. Whenever you see value, I am saying I'm taking the underdog to win the fight. Now, every now and then you'll see me take, no. This is underdogs to win the fight. Leans is essentially me taking favorites to win the fight. So when I take a favorite to win a fight, I'm right. I take an underdog, I'm still above 500. Please understand the method here. And then the locks, well, we just got to hope some of these guys get it together. But locks are usually me taking a favorite as well. But I feel like it's guaranteed. And you see it here, 10-6, not necessarily guaranteed. So when you go look at the cards and you see how well we've been doing on the season, shout out to us. Let me pull it over so you guys can see it. It's been difficult to try to show it on the screen because of I apologize. I got to be a little more professional here. I don't have all my scenes set up for this. But you see last night we went 9-4, 67%. We can make that green. I'll do that later. Okay. I can do it now. Let's go. Oh, Rico, you can do some formatting here. It'll automatically do it. Yeah, I don't do any if statements, bro. Leave me alone. All right, so 69%, we're getting better, we're cooking. It was a lot of fights, more than other cards. But these are all the fight nights that are going to happen this summer. You guys are missing out. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, at least 9 other fights left. Come win your money, y'all. Shout out to the MVPs who believe in us. Shout out to those of you who are rocking on the Discord server with me, watching the fights. Remember, we have the next UFC 298 coming up next weekend. Okay? I'm going to always televise the fights. Get on the Discord server. That's all I got to say. Get on the Discord server. You don't have to worry about paying for it. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Stay up, y'all. Peace.